Sports Betting Illuminated, where we play with the house, not against it. I'm your host, Ariel Miller, author of Sports Betting Illuminated, an AI-powered path to profit. It is so wonderful seeing all of you here tonight. Hello, Elvin. Hey, Brian. So great seeing you here. I also saw DJ Ray coming in early, dropping the links. Plus, I see over on Rumble, Super Duper James, Tuck Science, how are you? It's so wonderful seeing everyone here tonight. Oh, and Chris is here from Patriots Pod. Thank you so much. This is the little outfit tonight. Let me get up. Yeah, it's a look. Well, real soon on the show, we will have like another camera angle, go over to a different area, get more of like a full interactive view. So I'm excited about that. I was working on that today and it should be here soon. So I'm excited to just make this show a little bit more interactive, have a different angle, kind of like a weather girl kind of vibe, but with prediction markets, leaning more into the financial sphere of things. Hey Derek, welcome in. Because that's kind of what I feel like the show's aligned with, you know, finance, investments. Yeah, we talk about sports, but we're reading the market here. We're understanding how game theory applies and how to play with the house, not against it. So I'm excited. Lots of good stuff. Okay, Super Duper James, you need to view twice. Let's go. This is a look for today. It is cold out there, so trying to stay warm instead of freezing, but it's cold. Hey DJ Ray, Super Pro. Hey, the Super Friends are here. I love it. It is so wonderful seeing you all here tonight. I think we are going to have a great time looking at some of these picks that I have, diving a little bit deeper into AI, and also I have a great coaching corner for you today, the 2-minute drill. It's going to be a lot of fun, and if you don't already have my free daily emails, please sign up right here just by going to arielcalista.com, clicking the stay in touch button, and tell your friends, tell your family. I'm trying to grow this email list and get more people involved because it's a free toolkit. It's available to everyone, and I just wish more people knew about it. So it would be great if you could share that, and also give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Welcome in, please. If you like it, you're following along, don't wait till the very end. It's so wonderful seeing all of you here tonight. Thanks so much, DJ Ray. Plugging the link directly, telling people where to find the daily report. Last show, yeah, that was fun. Milkshakes on the menu. Can you believe I got up and I started doing that? I was getting a little carried away. So our current ROIs right now, we're starting off strong in college basketball with a 39.7% ROI. We've had a 72.7% win rate so far this season with 121 units played. So we've been doing really well in college basketball. Let's keep it up. In the NHL, we've been doing well there too. Almost, we're like right there, just a sliver away from a 35% ROI. We're currently sitting at 34.8% with a 66% win rate on 94 units played this season. And in the NBA, we have a 32.2% ROI with a 67.1% win rate on 89 units played so far this season. DJ Ray, you did not. All right, I have some new a new strain right here, some new weed. It is Dutch Treat Haze, so kind of hazy, a little bit earthy, ideal for just clear-headedness when you're making these wagers, but also calm and relaxing enough to stay grounded and not get carried away. All right, you know what I always say. Sit back, relax, and get your minds right to win some wagers. Uh-oh, don't tell me this lighter isn't working. Let's try this one. Oh yeah, that's a good strain. I like it. Very earthy. Now, let's take another hit just for that little lighter inconvenience, and then we'll get started. I do need a new lighter. I would really like one of those lighters that, you know, it's like an old lighter, how they used to make them back in the day. Like, it's an antique kind of thing where you just like refill it forever and it lasts like literally forever. Alrighty, so let's start off by discussing the upcoming Super Bowl. That's right, lighter off the bench. Alright, so starting off with the Seahawks. This spread has just been sitting right here at -4.5. There is a bit of Seattle money, but it's just sitting there, and the total has come down a bit in this game. It went from 46.5 down to 46, down to 45.5. Now there is some over money that I see happening already. A lot of people think this is the big game, it's gonna go over. I know people love to play those overs, but Vegas is going the other way. So I'd be cautious. Definitely be a little bit cautious. Zippo and antique. Oh no. I'm talking about those really fancy lighters that, like, you know, they have like different shapes, and it was almost like they were artisan lighters. I saw them once on my For You page, but other than that, like, I don't see them around. Wow. What are your takes on the Super Bowl? Does anyone have any plays? I think a lot of you know that I've been leaning a bit more towards the Seahawks, if anything, but that's just a personal opinion. I've also heard from a lot of you that you're actually just gonna sit out the Super Bowl and you don't really have a lot of plays. You might not even play anything during the Super Bowl, which I think is interesting. You know, I do think that's interesting hearing from you guys what you like, what you don't like. If you're playing some props. Uh-oh. Well, we don't want to censor you here. Oh my gosh, Super James. You didn't have fancy things like fire. Eric has some badass props. Alright. Yeah. We need to get him on the show sometime, giving us some prop plays, finding those unique edges. You know, watching a warm up, or oh, it's going to be in this gym this year. Seahawks because the groundhog said so. I like it. The groundhog. I mean, when a groundhog is beating a lot of these talking heads out there with better predictions, come on. I know it's just one data point out there in like a sea of noise with no real value to it whatsoever. But it does show something important. Like a lot of these talking heads out there, they're not some of them are doing worse than a groundhog. Yeah, I feel that, Elvin. I don't think there's a clear edge here. I mean, this is when the lines are the tightest. But I think if anything, I would not play an over. It's just not looking good. They're moving the lines in the opposite direction. Alrighty, we do have a few games that are happening at 7 o'clock today, so let's just dive right on into that in college basketball, where we've been crushing it so far this season. That is right. I love it. We're almost at a 40% ROI in college basketball. Like, we're right there. We're a third of we're 0.3% away. So I think tonight, let's just look at some of these games, see what's going on here. All right, so starting off with Ball State versus Bowling Green. This is a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern game, and this total does look like it's starting to creep towards the over. It opened up at 135.5, went to 138.5. There's level 1 money on the over, and I would say this is looking pretty interesting. The money is there, the line is moving in the right direction, and it's coming up pretty soon, and just about 45 minutes from now. Oh no, DJ Ray, YouTube censors everybody. The chat is like really tough. Hey Spencer, welcome in. Yeah, I hope the groundhog isn't playing 4-leg parlays. He was a cute one this year. I love seeing the groundhog. Like, what a fun American tradition. It's been around for what, like 180 years, something like that. And we hold up a groundhog. We make a prediction about the weather. And a lot of people in Pennsylvania get really drunk. What a great tradition. I would say, like, we've had quite a few issues with YouTube censoring the chat in the past, and I know for a lot of people it could get really frustrating because we're not a censorship. We don't like censoring people here on this show. I don't want to censor people. I'm like, whatever, say whatever you want. This is freedom of speech. Unlimited right here on the Sports Betting Illuminated show. Okay, so this over looks like it's developing really nicely in Ball State versus Bowling Green. Moving on to Boston College Eagles versus the Duke Blue Devils. This is another game coming up pretty fast, and I think this over looks even better than the first over. And this total opened up at 135.5. Now it's sitting all the way at 140.5. That is a 5-point move towards the over, and it's also being backed by level 2 money. So I think this is looking really good. I like seeing the money here. This was a huge move, even bigger than the first over that we liked, and even more money here. So I think this is a nice little over spot. I'm gonna keep my eye on it. I like it a lot though. It's a big move on this total, and the money is there backing it up. So I like this overplay. Yeah, censorship is crazy. I mean, I was just thinking about this, how, like, a lot of people want me to get back on, even just, like, TikTok or Instagram and things like that. But then when you start really thinking about it, you're competing against like tens, if not hundreds, millions of potential bots out there. I mean, not even hundreds of thousands, like millions and millions of bots are across like all these social media platforms. And the real people that are producing original content, like me, I was producing a lot of betting content every single day, and I just kept getting blocked, and my videos kept getting taken down over and over again. And now it's even worse, because with all the bots out there, the social media companies just aren't even incentivized to get them off the platform and curate some real content. You know, even if it's something that they don't necessarily like talking about betting. But people do that all the time. They just wanted to censor me, I guess. Oh good, Super James, I'm glad. Alright, I included that button in my daily email the other day just to see if you guys wanted to see all the 2-minute drills that I've been doing since like the beginning of time. And yeah, they're all there on OFTV. It is, you know, just a really great platform to hold all my content, to create like the fun thumbnails, all of that, and of course subscribe. I don't know, DJ Ray, but by the third time, it's like, if it's every time I got to like a certain number of followers too, they would just take my account down. So I knew like, this is like systematic. So yeah, I mean, and then at the end of the day, when you have millions of bot accounts that are just feeding everything, and the social media companies, they love the bot accounts as much as they try to fight it. It definitely helps them bring even more ad revenue in. So, you know, I mean, it's crazy. You know, there needs to be a new type of social media out there where, you know, everything isn't so censorship heavy, and we're not banning real people's accounts, we're banning the bot accounts. But I don't think that's gonna happen, honestly. I think that's right, Super Pro, for real. Maybe the way I dress, maybe talking about sports betting. I mean, even when I tried to do everything a little more conservatively for TikTok, they still ended up just taking me down. And Instagram, there's just too many bots. Like, there's no hope of growth. Yeah, maybe then they'll leave me alone. YouTube, Google, all those platforms that like own everything. Yeah, I guess as like a decentralized person that you guys know I am, I'm always fighting against that. But it's definitely more like a David versus Goliath thing. Alright, so let's look at St. Bonaventure versus Dayton. This is another 7 o'clock game, and I think St. Bonnie is looking like a pretty good underdog to take if you're looking at some spreads to play in college basketball. This opened up at plus 10.5. Right now, they're sitting at plus 8.5, so it's going in the right direction. And also, there is level 1 pro money here, moving this line. So I like seeing all of the pro money coming in on St. Bonaventure. And I think this is a nice spread if you're looking for a little bit of an underdog play. It's moving 2 points in the right direction, and the pros are here. So I like it. I like seeing some super strong pro money. Alrighty. Both teams fail to cover. Yeah, that could be a problem for sure. But I like seeing the pros. I like seeing the pros here. Another one I'm looking at 7 o'clock is Southern Illinois versus Illinois State. This is a game where I'm just looking at the spread. It's only moved 1 point, and right now it's a little bit more of a borderline play for me. So Illinois State opened up at minus 7.5. It moved to minus 8.5, and there is level 3 money on Illinois State. So there's a bit of money going on here, but not a lot of movement from the sports book. So it's looking a little bit more action-y right now. Maybe I'll put it in my action pile, but at this moment, I would say this might just be one to kind of keep your eye on. But it doesn't look like the Vegas lines are moving too much. Though it does look like it's starting to go in the right direction for Illinois State, and we'll see what happens. Hey Mendoza, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Alrighty, so we have even more plays tonight in the NBA and hockey. I know we have some of our hockey pros right here in the audience, but we are just going to roll into the 2-minute drill right now. It is a really good one, and especially with the Super Bowl coming up in just a few days. Can you believe it? This is one to watch, especially if you're trying to preserve your bankroll. So let's get started, and let's make some money this weekend instead of losing our shirts during the Super Bowl. You're hitting 55% of your bets. You feel amazing. You've done the work, you've built the models, you've ignored those sucker parlays, and your spreadsheet is green, and you're convinced that you finally cracked the code. But the truth is, you haven't. Let's take a look at the juice. Let's look at the standard minus 110 odds. You don't need 50% to break even. You need 52.38%. That extra 2.38% is the house's edge baked in. If you win 55% of your bets at $100 a pop after 1,000 wagers, you're up $5,000, which sounds great, right? Until you realize you've worked hundreds of hours for what amounts to less than minimum wage. But here's the truly insidious part. Sportsbooks love bettors who win 55%. And why? Because you'll keep playing. You see a profit, you think you found an edge, and you increase your volume. And every single time you click place bet, win or lose, the sportsbook clips nearly 5% right off the top. Now, think about an NFL season. 16 bets every Sunday, $100 each. At a 55% win rate, you're profiting about $80 per week, and you walk away after 17 weeks with about $1,300 in profit. That sounds good, right? But now let's look at the sportsbook side of that same ledger. On your action alone, they generated over $27,000 in total handle. Their theoretical cut with a 4.76% hold is roughly $1,295. Let's rewind. You made $1,300, they made $1,295, and you did all the work. Think about that. You're taking all the risk. You're the one sweating the fourth quarter comeback, the missed holding call, or the star quarterback going down with a high ankle sprain. You're the one doing the 2 a.m. modeling and the line shopping. And at the end of the season, you and the sportsbook are basically splitting profits 50-50. They're a silent partner in your business, except they don't take any of the losses. And of course, the sportsbooks never have a bad week. The house is quietly counting your volume because the juice compounds everywhere. Parlays, true odds on a two-teamer should pay plus 300. Most books pay plus 260. You're giving the books an extra 13% house edge. Player props, they are often juiced to minus 120 or minus 130. You need a 57% accuracy to break even, so good luck. And live betting, the juice floats to 8% while you're reacting in the heat of the moment. The lines move fast. you're getting minus 115 to minus 125 on reactive bets that you think are sharp. And every time you deviate from a standard spread, you're paying the sportsbook's rent. To actually thrive in this game and not just survive, you need to hit 57 or 58% consistently over thousands of bets. That's not just pretty good, that is professional handicapping. And even then, you're making an 8 to 12% ROI while fighting betting limits, competing against other sharps who move lines instantly, and grinding variance that swings 20% in either direction monthly. The house doesn't need you to go broke. They just need you to stay in the game. And every bet you place, the vig is their dividend. Winning 53% isn't beating the house, it's treading water while they charge you a service fee for the privilege. The trap isn't losing, the trap is winning just enough to keep you playing. I love seeing all of these comments on the 2-minute drill. Thank you so much. I'm glad you learned a lot from it, and also that you enjoyed the outfit, of course. So yeah, it's really interesting, you know, hearing how much more this house is making with live betting, props, parlays, and it's just important to keep that in the back of your mind, especially as the Super Bowl is right around the corner and it's fun to make fun bets. And they're going to, I mean, if you think they're not going to be notifying your phone and emailing you and probably even sending push text message notifications, and I mean, even at certain levels they might even have a VIP concierge calling you up saying, hey, these bets look great today. There are so many ways that the sports books will then try to, you know, kind of get you into these riskier bets that really just ultimately are great for their bottom line, but not so great for yours. And I'm glad you guys learned a lot. Thank you so much. That is right. And that's what I'm always saying, play with the house. And every week I come in here and I'm real about what my ROIs are, what my win rates are, and just exactly how many units I've played. And it's all out there. I'm not afraid to hide it, and truthfully, it is hard hitting a 60% win rate consistently, but that's what it takes to be a successful sports bettor. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these like top sports books will have like VIP concierge, you know, they've asked me to do that role, and honestly, I'm not going to be a shill for the sports book. Like, I'm not going to give people plays that I don't personally believe in, and a lot of times it's important to pass. Seriously. Okay, so I have one more game that I'm looking at in college basketball, and it is a little bit of a later game. Also, you know, I was updating my numbers, and I was looking at St. Bonaventure, the spread, as an underdog, and even though it's going in the right direction, I'm just not that big of a fan of it. Not that big of a fan. The money's been disappearing and it just doesn't look so good anymore. But this play, Valparaiso versus Bradley Braves. This is an 8 o'clock game, and hey David, welcome in. This is an underdog spread that I actually like. So Valparaiso opened up at plus 9.5, went to plus 7.5. So it's a 2-point move in the right direction for Valparaiso on mixed money, and the money is looking a bit pro. So I like to see that happen. And there's some good pro money in there. The spread's moving in the right direction. And I think, yeah, out of all of the college basketball plays that I've been talking about so far tonight, this one is my favorite. I think it's looking pretty solid. It's going in the right direction. The pros are there. Alrighty. So nice seeing you here. Welcome to the stream. Now let's move on to the NBA. Now that we've covered college basketball, I'll just leave you with that. That is my favorite. My favorite play in college basketball tonight. It's a little bit more borderline. It's more of an action play than like a fully highlighted in red kind of play. But I still like it, and that's my favorite one in college basketball tonight is this Valparaiso spread. All right, moving on to the NBA because we have a game coming up real soon. And this one I like a lot. It is a 7 o'clock game between the Nuggets and the Pistons. And this total I've been watching. You know, I've been watching this slowly creep up throughout the day. It opened up at 226.5, went up to 228.5. There was level 2 money backing this over, went up even further to 229.5. There's level 1 money on the over, so the money is starting to fade a little bit, but it's still strong. The line is moved towards the over. This is a nice 3-point move towards the over here, and even though it's not, I don't feel like it's a super strong play, I think this is my favorite one tonight in the NBA. It's a nice little total. And I know a lot of people out there love playing the overs, so this is the over that I would say I really like. It's going in the right direction, and I think it'll just be a high scoring game. But I wouldn't get too crazy. I'm not gonna pull a ladder out and step up it here. I just like it as it is. All right, so moving on to Utah Jazz versus Indiana Pacers. This is another 7 o'clock game, and it's coming up pretty fast. This Utah Jazz spread, they open up as underdogs. They're still underdogs, but it's moving in the right direction for them. Hey, who knows? I mean, this line could keep moving, and maybe they'll even be the favorites soon. But they did open up at plus 4.5. They are currently sitting at plus 2.5, and I see some pros in the mix. So I think this is looking like a bit of an action play. I like seeing that mixed pro money here, and the line has already moved 2 points in the right direction for the Jazz tonight. So something to keep your eye on, but I would say put this into the action play pile because all the signs are there. It is definitely meeting my parameters. All right, moving on to Atlanta Hawks versus the Miami Heat. This is a 7:40 p.m. Eastern game, so coming up in about an hour from now. I've been watching this Hawks spread. It went from plus 4.5 to plus 1.5 on some Hawks money. But the thing is, I'm not really seeing any pros come in on this. I think Vegas is just adjusting the line here. So even though it's going in the right direction for the Hawks, there's nothing about this play that is looking that interesting to me. It just looks more like a Vegas adjustment, if anything, reacting to some of the money and moving the lines a bit. All right, next up, we have Orlando Magic versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern game, and I've been watching this Oklahoma City spread. It opened up at minus 7.5, went up to minus 9.5. I do see a bit of Oklahoma City money, but also kind of like the previous game, I just think this is a bit more of an adjustment in reaction to the money or expected money, but I'm not seeing Vegas take a big stand here. They're moving the line, but no pros are really coming in. So that's something important to watch. The pro money just hasn't shown up here. So I just don't think the pros are really that interested in this game, or maybe they're waiting to make their big plays at the Super Bowl. We'll see. All right, and last game in the NBA tonight that I really like is at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and that is the 76ers versus Golden State Warriors game. This is pretty interesting. So Of course, you guys already know, if you've been following the daily report, I played this as an advanced play. I played Golden State early at -3.5, and this was because of basically a terrible scheduling spot, right? So, I mean, Golden State, yeah, they've had a lot of rest days. They've had 3 rest days, and of course, you know, they're looking at the 76ers, who've just been in back-to-back travel days. It's been a lot of work, a lot of pressure for them, and so far with these advanced plays, we've been doing really well. You know, we've hit 6 of them. We've only lost 2, so this is one that I've been charting. My AI model popped this out saying, this looks like a very, this looks like it could be very much like a scheduling mismatch here. And of course you have to look at Joel Embiid, like how compromised is he? And really like which leg is managing the load. I think it's going to be a difficult spot. And Golden State, they've had a lot of rest. They are very comfortable here. And I think it's going to be good for them. So I played this early at -3.5. Golden State opened up at -2.5. But right now they are sitting at -4.5. So even though there is a bit of 76ers money coming in and trying to push us the other way, I think this is still going to be a good day for a Golden State win. And that's what I see. Lots of scheduling conflicts, injuries, all of that you have to consider. Whereas they have a lot of rest. Golden State has a lot of rest, and they're going to be coming back sharp and focused, and just something to think about. Thanks so much, DJ Ray. Absolutely. If you just came into this stream, or if you came in late, please hit the thumbs up button and tell your friends and family about the daily report. It goes out every single day. Tell them where to sign up, how to get it, and it's full of great information where they want to know about sports betting, or even things like health, AI. We cover it all. Plus there's always a little fun picture of me at the bottom of every email, so that's great too. Just sign up, arielcalista.com. Click the button that says stay in touch, and let's grow this email. I would love if more people knew about it. I love that, Derek. He never bets the NBA at the Open, and he bet this at the Open. Alrighty. This was a good early action play. Early action advanced play. Yeah, it's a good one. It really is. I think fatigue is going to be showing up here in a serious way. And it's just not going to be good for the 76ers, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see what happens during the game time. But yeah, I like it. I like when the other sharps in our audience are also on this as well. And Derek bet this early at the Open. I like it too. Let's go. And let me know, what hockey picks do you like? We're about to dive on in to hockey tonight. And yeah, let's start with a 7 o'clock game between the Senators and the Hurricanes. I have been watching this Ottawa money line for a while. It's looking a little bit borderline. Earlier, I really liked this play. I really did. I thought it was going in the right direction. It opened up at +180, so looking like a big plus money play. Moved to +145. And it just kind of sat there. And there was some pro money, but now it's just level 1 money. A lot of the pros disappeared on this. Oh, okay. So you like the Piston game over. Alright, that's a double top one for you. I think we have 2 really good plays in basketball, and then one yeah, I guess one weaker play, which would be the Jazz play, but yeah, the over in this Nuggets Pistons game and this Golden State spread are what I like the most. And then, you know, for a nice little action play, if you want to take this Utah Jazz spread for as they are the underdogs right now, might be a nice little underdog spot, especially for a little action. All right, so earlier I was looking at this Ottawa money line, and it was looking like a nice plus money play, but right now it's just looking a little bit borderline. I liked it a lot early, but things can change throughout the day, and you know, this line has just kind of been stuck here. It's not really going anywhere. I think people are happy with where it's at. The money has since disappeared. It was level 2 super pro money, and now it's just level 1. And the pros, I don't really see the pro money here anymore. Absolutely. So that's why it's important to use these daily reports, the emails that I send out, as like a tool throughout the day. Because just because I like something early doesn't mean that the line's going to hold throughout the day or the money's going to hold. It's more important that you understand how to read these lines and understand them and how to play with the house. And I explain that right here, how to do that. I have like workbook examples in here in my book, Sports Betting Illuminated. So it's more than just seeing the lines and taking them as they are. That's not what the daily report is for. It's for understanding them and then using it as a tool to make better plays throughout the day. I do want to rip on DJ Ray. Thanks for reminding me. All right. I'm going to sit back, relax, and win some hockey wagers. I like the haze. It's nice. It's earthy. Oh, so good. I have so many seeds too from all the cannabis I've been growing. It is crazy. But now in a year from now, if things just continue, like with the bills the way they are, we're not even going to be allowed to sell like cannabis seeds with zero THC in them because they're marijuana seeds, and that's like a very dangerous thing apparently. Thanks so much, DJ Ray. Yes, that's where you could get my book, arielcalista.com. I even have a book bundle if you want to get the Sports Betting Illuminated and Infrared Illuminated books together. But I am working on updating the Infrared Illuminated book, and it should be coming together really soon. All right, this play I like a lot in hockey tonight, and that is Columbus Blue Jackets versus New Jersey Devils. I know, DJ Ray. I gotta save the seeds, but now it's gonna be illegal to sell them. Like, literally straight up illegal. Felony, maybe. Crazy, right? Yeah, that happened when they decided, like, they wanted to just basically ban all these, like, Delta 9 hemp-derived products, Delta 8 hemp-derived products, like HHC, all the stuff that I love and have been a big supporter of for years. They also decided, like, seeds should just be thrown in along with that. But hey, you know what? It's the dispensaries that are really pushing this. Seriously, like, dispensaries hate hemp companies. So every year it's just getting worse and worse, like trying to fight, so that people could actually have access to cannabis no matter what. But I don't know if that's gonna happen soon. Alrighty. So this Columbus Blue Jackets New Jersey Devils game, the Blue Jackets opened up at even money, but then they went to minus 110, and I do see a bit of pro money coming in here. It looks like some pro money is coming in on a Blue Jackets, so I'm thinking this might be a play. The Blue Jackets have been very solid this season, especially when the line moves. So that's something I've been noticing with this team in particular. That is true. People, I mean, honestly, I think sometimes the best stuff you could get is like, I mean, no, a lot of people don't like to go the illegal way, but I don't know, it's also not everyone's vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everyone is going to be like, if you move to a new place, like, hey, anyone that sells cannabis. So I could understand how it's also like a barrier for people, but yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm like, if people just want seeds, I'm happy to give them away to the world. Like, I think everyone should have access to cannabis, especially people who need it. All right, so I like this Blue Jackets. I like this Blue Jackets play tonight. I think this is looking good. The line's moving in the right direction for them, and this play is happening soon. It's already 6:48, and yeah, this is a 7:00 p.m. Eastern game, so keep that in the back of your mind as you're watching this live stream. I've been watching the Buffalo versus Tampa Bay game. This is at 7:30. The Buffalo money line, it seems like there's some sharps coming in here. It went from plus 190 to plus 162, and it's just sitting there. I see some sharps here, though, on the Buffalo money line. So something to keep in mind, but it hasn't really risen to the level of a play yet for me. It is a big plus money number, but I'm still just, I don't know, I'm a little unsure about it. Yeah. Ari Cannabis Seed, that's right. I definitely am Ari Cannabis Seed. Alright. Let's look at the Penguins versus New York Islanders game. This is at 7:30. The Penguins money line opened up at plus 110. And right now it's currently sitting at minus 110 on mixed pro money. There is a little bit of pro money here, but this wasn't a huge line movement. I think, this is one I just want to watch and see a little bit. Yeah. That is true check science. I guess I've just been feeling a little bit bitter about just how everything in cannabis changes, and it's like you always get this whiplash just trying to be a product manufacturer. And right now I've been trying to get processing, like just processing to take credit cards on a CBD store online with products that have lab results and certificate of analysis and all of that. And it's already taken over 3 weeks. And it's like constant applications. And I'm dealing with, someone who really wants to get me processing, but the amount of barriers that banks and all these institutions throw up, because there's always these constantly changing laws and nobody ever knows for sure what's going to happen next week. It actually affects real people and real businesses at the end of the day. And yeah, it just sucks. That's all. So maybe I have gone on a little bit of a tangent here tonight with the cannabis, but there's a reason for it. And I know it looks like just doing the sports betting and all of that stuff, but then I'm also having to deal with processing companies and banks and all of this other stuff on the side that you don't really see, but it does affect my business. And it's stressful because it's always changing, and I've had so many times where it's like, even after you spend months just trying to get processing and spending like literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single time you want to get like COAs, they still could just take it away from you at any second without like any warning or anything. So yeah, it's just like being in this kind of gray area and always having these like having everything always changing with cannabis. It just, I don't know, it actually affects real people and real businesses at the end of the day. Exactly. And it's like you want to do things the right way. You want to be in a legitimate business. So that means you have to talk to the banks, you have to talk to credit card processors and all of that stuff. But yeah, absolutely. Support small cannabis businesses and the local hemp shops and all of that stuff, because they put so many rules and regulations that just these businesses have to face versus every single other business out there. It's actually crazy. I mean, until recently, like, it was like everyone could just sell kratom like crazy, and you don't need all of these anything really to go ahead and sell it. But I mean, versus just selling like a CBD lip balm. Like, why are there more rules about selling a CBD lip balm than there are kratom? Like, make it make sense. Alrighty, so I wanted to talk a little bit about AI. Those are all the games that I had for today. Let me just run through them one more time. We're talking about the Super Bowl, but right now these lines are tight, even though the total is starting to go lower and lower. I personally think it's going to be a good day for Seattle, but at this moment, I don't have a bet that I'm feeling really strong about. In college basketball, my strongest play is the Valparaiso, and that is an underdog spread that I like, backed by some pro money. And in the NBA, my top plays here. I really like this over in this Nuggets-Pistons game. It's still a little bit of a weaker play, but I like it. And for my action play, I like this Utah spread sitting at +2.5. You see some pro money there. And finally, this is one of my advanced plays. I already locked this in a day ago. This is the Golden State spread. There is such a schedule mismatch here. There's injuries, and I think this is going to be a good day for Golden State. So let's go. Oh yeah, kratom is really, I mean, people get addicted to kratom. I mean, I've seen people's, like, I've heard of people's eyes bleeding. I've seen people, like, get really sick and start throwing up on it. It's just, yeah, but it's easier to sell than, like, a CBD lip balm. Crazy. Like, it really doesn't make any sense to me. So I wanted to talk about AI because there's a lot of companies, I mean, every single day popping up as AI companies. I see ads for AI companies. I see new businesses calling themselves AI companies. And I think there was something really important that I talked about yesterday in a daily report, and that was the difference between operators and architects. Like, everyone is calling themselves an AI company, right? And for the most part, they might go to OpenAI and get an API key and integrate it with their own interface and, start chatting with it and then call themselves an AI company. But just think about this for a second. Think about, like, the adoption of cell phones. So back in the day, a lot of people were really interested. Like, do you have a BlackBerry, or do you have an iPhone? Or, I mean, I guess there was even a day when people didn't really even know what the iPhones were, but do you have the Kick phone Switch? I can't remember what all of them were. I'm so sorry. I mean, do you have, like, the Razr phone, Motorola, or the Nokia? Oh my gosh, it's all coming back to me. People would go compare iPhones, and to me, that's a little bit like what people are doing right now, going out there and saying, oh, do you use ChatGPT? Well, actually, no, I go over here and I use Claude, or no, I like to use Gemini more. And it's kind of like what we used to do comparing cell phones in a lot of different ways. But here's the biggest difference. So when cell phones were first getting popular, a company would go and buy 30 cell phones for all their employees, right? You go out, you have work to do, say you're installing heating units in people's houses, and you give all your employees cell phones, so you buy 30 cell phones from the cell phone company. But what they didn't do they didn't call themselves a cell phone company after they went out and bought 30 cell phones. They knew they were still installing heating units in people's homes. They weren't a cell phone company. But here with AI, this is exactly what we're doing. Everybody is calling themselves an AI company when they wouldn't call themselves a cell phone company. But everybody is calling themselves an AI company, and it's like that's exactly what is happening. And in this future AI world where really, you know, a lot of the AI where a lot of the AI is really making a difference, you don't see, you know, like a lot of people, like the difference between somebody coming to me and saying, like, I know AI people do this all the time, like, I know AI just as well as you do. And they'll show me like a video of them making a cat jumping off a diving board, and then a cow jumping off a diving board, and then a snake slithering off a diving board. Like, you can only see this AI generated content so much, and then you realize, like, no, this isn't anything. We're not even talking in the same realm of things right now. Like, you're going to you know, an AI video company, there's literally hundreds of them out there right now. A lot of them are just based off of these open source models that anyone can grab off of Hugging Face, and they're calling themselves an AI architect, but in truth they're not. They're just an operator. They're using AI like as a tool, you know, to maybe enhance their work, but you know, a lot of the beauty of AI and what it's really good at, you can't even see. Like, if you're building, you know, a deep learning neural network, a lot of what it's doing, you can't even see until like you're looking at your output, and then you're trying to understand, is it overfitting to the data? Is it underfitting to the data? And then you're getting real predictive models. But what you're doing with just generating farm animals going off a diving board, it's not the same thing. Stephen Hawking jumping off the diving board. I know, exactly. It is the Wild West. And a lot of people are just calling themselves an AI company when they're just getting an API key and, you know, saying they're an AI company. When truthfully, they haven't gone past the surface level. And a lot of what's really cool and what I find personally fascinating about AI is not generating some text or, you know, generating a new video, but it's looking at how it's actually able to be very predictive of real world events. Like in class right now, we're talking about like hospital readmissions. How many people are going to come back out of this group? And then how do you start working with the data to ensure that, you know, you're actually looking at everyone in the hospital, like, and, you know, you don't have bias in the data, you're stratifying it, you're using one hot encoding to encode the categorical variables. I mean, these are all important things that AI is doing beyond just making videos of farm animals going off diving boards. And that's the difference. And the architect, the operator is sitting there, you know, and a lot of these operating jobs are going to be gone in the future, because I could build a beautiful neural network right now just to predict, just to forecast, or a random you know, like a random forest to predict, to forecast, you know, the next quarter sales for a certain company. Given all of this information, I could build a neural network to predict it. I could actually run multiple different models and try to figure out which one's going to be the most accurate, or have the highest recall, or the highest precision, or F1 scores. But at the end of the day, like, that does, I do realize it does take, you know, a whole team of people who, you know, would normally be forecasting and, you know, writing on their spreadsheets the math and trying to understand all of that. And being an architect in a day and age of AI is becoming more and more important. Thinking about how to use AI for a specific solution that the business needs is way more important than having a subscription to ChatGPT. Being able to think and strategize like an architect and figure out what are the problems that need to be solved and what are the solutions that we know with AI that we could use to solve these problems. That's what really separates the people whose jobs aren't going to be taken by AI from people who potentially might, and truthfully, a lot of these, I see day after day a lot of these articles coming out saying like a lot of the white collar jobs out there are going to be disappearing to AI. And the truth is when you start looking at the actual numbers, like, I'm just going to use another example from class again because I'm at Johns Hopkins and it's just relevant on my mind. I did a couple hours of schoolwork today. I do it regularly, but for example, like if a doctor is, about 40% accurate at looking at, if a radiologist, for example, is 40% accurate at looking at these x-rays and an AI is 85% accurate, is it almost not ethical to not use AI? Like, we should want to actually use it in spots where it's going to be better than humans, but use it, so that the experts have it as like a tool in their back pocket versus just allowing it to take over. Because at the end of the day, you still need the architects to be able to make the decisions and implement it and think of the problems that need to be solved in the right kind of ways. Yeah. Sora is a lot of fun. So you know what I'm saying. It's fun to create the videos. But there's so many ways that, that AI works. And a lot of these ways that, are going to take over. It's the AI that you can't really see. Thank you so much, Red Pill. Yeah. Sports gambling is, it's an exciting field for AI, but also I want people to know, like, while everyone right now is talking about AI and sports betting, and we are getting flooded with bots all over Telegram, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, every single Facebook. Years ago I read an article that like 75% of Facebook content is just being generated by machines. Now today it's even worse. So like, when it's something like sports information, a lot of what they're calling AI today, because it's such a buzzword, has already been integrated into some of these bigger systems like the NFL, like Major League Baseball, like Formula One. For a really long time, like AWS has contracts with all of these sports leagues and they publicly talk about it. I've written very much in depth about like AWS and like the NHL, for example, and just how deep the data goes. But if you don't know how deep the data goes, then trust me, we don't have access to all of that data, but the data is out there and it goes deep, and those teams have access to the data, the sports books have access to this data, and we're working with like not even level 2 data, but I'd say like level 3 data if you have like even the best of the best data, like as a sports bettor. So AWS has a contract with Super James. What they've been calling AI, they've already been doing this for years. They've been creating these better and better predictive models, hiring the best mathematicians out of the schools and, statisticians, and creating all of this good, information using the data. So that's why this strategy of playing with the house speaks to me so personally, because about using their data. They have the best data. We're never going to have that quality of data. But identifying when they're taking a position on a game and understanding why they are, you know, whether it's a reaction or a correction, or whether they even just think there's going to be a lot of big headlines coming up about this very soon, and, you know, they're just reacting in advance. Yeah. AWS is very open about being an NFL partner, but they have it all over their website, like their Formula One, their NFL partner, even soccer, like Bundesliga. And then, you know, like Google is integrated with Major League Baseball. So they've been doing this for a while, and it's been right on our noses, but they're very open about it too. But what the public sees data-wise versus what they see, I mean, it's two different playing fields. Exactly. They know what they're doing, Alvin. Well, this is such a fun show. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Good luck on all of your bets tonight, and I will see you all back here next time for Saturday morning's live stream. Good luck, everyone. Let's win some wagers tonight, and thank you so much for stopping by. Please give this live stream a thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and sign up for my free daily emails. This is the best way to stay in touch with me every single day. I don't get censored on my own email, so don't worry about that. You can reply back to them any single time if you have a question, or if you even just want to say hi. I love hearing from you. So please tell your friends, tell your family. Let's grow this email group, and really turn this into like a great sports wagering community. Thanks so much for stopping in tonight. TJ Ray, thank you so much for posting the links to the daily report, the Substack, my website. Make sure to check out my book, Sports Betting Illuminated. And good luck tonight, and see you all next time.